Well, maybe you had a little bit of time to look ahead on the DISC personality profile. One thing when you go get a job one day, a lot of companies will give you a personality profile. You can call it a personality test or whatever, but just want to kind of see how you're wired, how things come out. I love these things, and I've done several, and it is helpful to understand various personalities. You're going to work with various personalities. For instance, if you go down here and look at the DICS, okay, the I is the interactive, fun, tends to be disorganized. In other words, if you're highly organized, look at the chart. If you're the letter C, the cautious one, and let's say the sanguine comes to borrow your scissors, don't expect to get them back. They probably will lose them. Now, you can get frustrated, or you can say, well, that's Susie or that's Tom. I mean, they don't have a clue. I mean, they don't know. They probably took them home. They don't remember. They're so unorganized. So don't get mad at people because of their personality. We're all wired differently. Maybe somebody gets mad at you because of the way you're wired, all right? And then you can look through these various characteristics. The letter D, these are the hard chargers that keep moving, the goal-oriented. I mean, they love to work, and they always think they're right. I know you think everybody I know thinks they're right. Well, these really think they're right. Okay, so you just need to be aware of that. The cautious, letter C, they're, like I mentioned, they're organized, they're in the details, they love systems, all right, getting things done. The S, these are the easygoing people, they're the stabilizers in relationships, and you can look at the other various characteristics, but if you'll notice, on the right side, the I and the S are more people-oriented, and the D and the C are more task-oriented, all right? Now, for me personally, I'm on the task side. I like doing things. That's just the way I'm wired. So, once again, you've got a personality, and you can even go to Foundations U and take this DISC profile test, all right? And you can find it there. All right, so on page 232, what kind of job do you want to do after graduation? And I mean, and these things are always changing, but a lot of people are into the science, technology. You're aware of this, the math, engineering, all that, but the medical field's big. And I know, what's funny in this pandemic, I know some people lost their jobs because the hospitals weren't doing elective surgeries. But there is going to always be a need for healthcare workers, people in the medical field. All right. Then you get into the arts, public service, business, might want to start your own business. Sports. I mean, sports, you could be a sports lawyer, sports psychologist. I mean, you don't have to play sports, but you might be an interest to you. All right. Maybe you love sports, but you want to do law. Okay. Sports lawyer. Sports players have agents. I mean, so there's a lot of different, it's like everything you can think of can go in 10 different directions nowadays. I mean, it's a crazy, it's a complex world, and we live in the age of specialty. All right. So section 2, bottom page 232, set some goals. All right. And there they are. Set a few things, spiritual, financial. Okay. Now on page 233, here's some goal guidelines. We've talked about how you're going to pay for your car, how you're going to pay for your cell phone, how you're going to pay for college, how you're going to pay for your computer, etc. Okay, or a trip you're going to take. Okay, and so you want to set some SMART goals and make them specific, measurable. All right, I got to have $500 for a new phone. Achievable. I've got 6 months to save it. All right, if that's achievable, that's a SMART goal. And then it needs to be realistic and relevant. All right, well, I need a phone. Okay. And then time bound, 6 months, 8 months, put a thing down. And that's how you want to set a SMART goal. All right. And then, these kind of written down. So let me just fill in the blanks. I kind of gave it to you like in an acrostic, SMART, but here they are. Make sure they're measurable, specific. Number 3 there, have time limits. Number 4, make sure they're your goals, not somebody else's. And number 5 there, be written down. All right? Napoleon Hill said a dream is a goal, or a goal is a dream with a deadline. All right? So, set a goal, and your dream is, I want to buy that new laptop computer, and 6 months later, that's your deadline, and you get there, and the dream, and you've got that machine. All right? Let's move on to section 3, because here's what I know. If you start at the entry level, and let's understand that people like the current CEO at, and it just slipped my mind, big famous hotel chain like, it's not the Hilton or anything like that. It's high end, and I forgot the name, okay? And the guy started out as like operating the elevator, all right? That's where he started. But you know what? He actually loved his job and was good at it, and then they promoted him, and today he's like the CEO. This huge conglomerate, worldwide resort type hotel, okay? But for the most part, you're not going to love your entry level job, and that's okay, all right? You want to be content, however, knowing that that's just part of the pathway, okay? I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, when you start your emergency fund, you get your first $25 in there, first $50. It's easy. Oh, wow, I only got $50. All right. Or you start investing. Don't open up your account statement 1 month later. I mean, like, wow, wow. Okay. You won't be. So you want to be content. All right. But nonetheless, and don't expect at this point in your life you're going to get a job making $150,000 a year. It's not going to happen. All right. So there's a process here. All right. And then one day you'll move out of the house and you'll be on your own. And let's not forget that in the Bible, in the Old Testament, David was a shepherd. That was before he was a king. Now, I don't know that he liked his first job. When you're a shepherd, you're like the gopher. I mean, you did stuff for people. You go for this, go for that. You just run errands and take care of the sheep. Not a really pleasant job. All right. All right. Well, let's go on down the middle of page 234. Average rent, and it's going to vary. We can go with $750 a month. Could be $1,000. I mean, it just depends on where you go. All right. Then you got to add in water, electricity, and I mean all the whatever comes. I mean, sometimes you can rent now, and it includes all the utilities, and that's kind of nice because at least then the payment is the same. All right. But nonetheless, just be aware of that. And notice the figure there, that's talking about $1,200 a month already. So that's going to take you over 14,000. I mean, you got to make 15,000 or probably 20,000 just to pay that because you got to pay taxes. All right. College graduates can expect, I don't know, this day and age, 50,000. But the average salary for a lot of people drops down to 27, 30,000. Put your number in, changes year to year. All right. Then there at the bottom of the page, don't expect to see all of your money. If you make 27,000, you won't get 27,000 because you do have to pay taxes. And that will take about 20%. Understand when you make let's just say you make 30,000, 7.5% goes to Social Security. All right. 8, 9, 10% is going to go to your state. And then another 10, 12, 15% going to go to the federal government. So you won't see all that money. All right. So just be aware of that when it comes to taxes. In other words, you can see in the example there, top of 235 leaves you like $600 a month for transportation, clothes, cable, cell phone, saving, giving, and having fun with your friends, maybe, and so on. All right. So just keep all that in mind. I mean, expenses start to add up on a daily, regular basis. And then you might think that having a full-time job means you can just go out and buy whatever you want, and that's not the case at all. So you've got to have a budget and stick with it. All right. So anyway, and along the way, you're going to make sacrifices along the way. All right. And that's going to help a lot. You're going to give up some things today so that you can have better things tomorrow.